from all of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hi, I just had a question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Sure, what's the question?
Well, it's a Bible question. I was reading, I was kind of checking out the New World Translation on the website.
Okay, yeah.
I found the most interesting they have some cross-references, like footnotes, you know, the little star, and you can check out a similar verse or related verses, which is
correct,
cool.
Yeah.
The verse was in Ephesians 4:7 through 10.
Okay.
Do you want to look at it, or do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up on my phone here real quick.
Cool.
Sorry, 1 second. Ephesians. I'm just switching it to English because I'm in the Spanish congregation. But let me look here. Ephesians.
You speak both?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing.
4, and then what verses was it? 7 through 10?
7 through 10.
Okay. All right, here. Where it says, now undeserved kindness was given to each one of us according to how the Christ measured out the free gift. That one right there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. For it says, when he ascended on high, he carried away captives, he gave gifts and men. Now what does the expression he ascended mean? But that he also descended into the lower regions, the earth. The very one who descended is also the one who ascended far above all the heavens, so that he might give fullness to all the things.
Okay, so I think it's talking about like when Christ died, you know, was buried and rose again, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yes.
So who ascended?
Who ascended?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's the question that you have.
Well, no. I was just setting up for the my other question.
Okay.
Christ ascended, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the cross reference is really interesting. It's Psalm 68:18.
Let's see here. Which one did you cross reference? Was it verse 8 or 9?
Where it says he ascended and gave gifts in men. I'm not looking at it right now, but I just made a note of it. But it cross references Psalm 68:18.
Yeah, okay, Psalm 68:18. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You ascended on high, you carried away captives, you took gifts in form of men, yes, even stubborn ones to reside among them, O Jehovah, O Jah God. Mm-hmm.
So, who ascended?
Because what happens is it's giving the reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
When he talked about when he ascended on high, he carried away captives. He gave gifts and men.
Mm-hmm.
So the gifts and men that it's talking about, it references 68:18.
Right. Who ascended? Who ascends in Psalm 68:18?
That again was talking about Jesus.
Did you read the verse? It says, "You have ascended on high."
Yeah.
Even the stubborn ones, et cetera, O Jehovah God.
Yeah.
It's saying that Jehovah ascended.
What he was saying, he was singing to Jehovah, but that's why he was talking about that. But it wasn't saying that God ascended.
It's saying exactly that. What kind of words? I mean, that's why it's a very curious cross-reference. And that's a kind of pattern in the New Testament. There's other scriptures like that too, where they actually quote the Old Testament, usually the Septuagint, and then apply it to Christ when it's about Jehovah. Yeah. It's clearly saying Jehovah ascended. When did Jehovah ascend and give gifts in men?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you want someone to talk more about it, like at your house, or to call you?
No. I just wanted to see what you thought about it.
I gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah. There's reasons for why people believe in the deity of Christ. Like another one, which I also think they give a cross-reference also, and that's in Hebrews 1:10 through 12, where it says it's talking about the Son. And then it quotes from Psalm 102, 25 through 27, about Jehovah creating the world. And it's the exact same words. And it says, this is said of the Son. It's like, wow, what do you make of that?
You're saying Hebrews chapter 1, what verse was it?
10 through 12.
10 through 12?
Yeah, it quotes from the Septuagint from Psalm 102. Now, I think it might be actually even in a cross-reference in the New World Translation, but I haven't looked at that in a while, so there might be one of those little stars or something. I think there was.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it. Trying to find the star. Because it says, you laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the works of your hands. But I don't find the little star.
Oh, is that in Hebrews chapter 1? I thought they did cross-reference. Maybe they removed it. Maybe I was looking at an older New World Translation. But it is, if you look, it is an exact quote from Psalm 102, 25 through 27. And it is the Septuagint version. Sometimes you can see that the words are a little different.
A little different, yeah.
So it describes laying the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the works of your hands. I mean, exactly, as it goes in Hebrews chapter 1, which it's saying of Jehovah in Psalm 102.
Yep, I see Psalm 102, 25. Yeah. Or you were saying long ago you laid the foundations, talking about Jehovah.
Why would a New Testament writer use that of Jesus then?
And then Hebrew 1:10 says, and at the beginning, O Lord, you laid the foundations of the earth. That's verse 10. Verse 9 says, that is why God, your God, anointed you with the oil of exaltation. So to me, it's talking about God.
It's talking of the
Jehovah
Son.
God.
If you look in Hebrews, it keeps saying, it's trying to prove that Jesus is not an angel, which is what Hebrews chapter 1 is about. And so it says, to which of the angels did he say this? And then it says, of the Son, he says this and this. So it's like a whole list of things that is said of the Son. So it's just showing, his deity in Hebrews chapter 1. One more before, I know you got stuff to do, but it's really interesting also that, the verse about the forerunner, that someone's coming to prepare the way for the Messiah?
Forerunner.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put that in Spanish words. I'm sorry.
Like the forerunner for Jesus was John the Baptist, right?
Yeah, okay. Forerunner. And then what verse was that one?
Well, it talks about Jesus, John the Baptist preparing the way of the Lord, preparing the way for Jesus in Matthew 3, Mark 1, Luke 3, and John 1. And they all quote the same passage from Isaiah 40, 3 through 5, which is saying, it's talking about that time, the Messianic time when Messiah would come, but it says, clear up the way of Jehovah. And they quote that verse and apply it to Jesus, obviously, who John the Baptist is preparing the way for.
When he was saying, prepare the way of Jehovah.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, then they quote that. It's in all the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read it here. So with these scriptures, do you believe that God and Jesus are different or that they're the same?
Well, if you're asking, do I believe Jesus is the Father? No one that believes that. That's not the Orthodox doctrine of the Trinity. It's that they share the same nature. They're one. Actually, the word in the Shema, the Lord our God is one, means a united one. It doesn't mean absolute oneness. It's the word echad. It's the same word used when people are married and become one. So they're not absolute oneness, but they exist, as the same divine being together in nature.
Oh, okay. And so then you were just trying to read these scriptures and try to see if it...
Yes, I was wondering how they can answer that. I don't know what... I know that they I've been reading the publications, and it seems like they use a very selective amount of verses. And they talk mostly about the verses that show that Jesus was human, which all Christians believe. Mm-hmm. You know, if you ever heard of the hypostatic union, we believe he is fully God and fully man. You know, both. It says in Philippians 2 that he condescended, even though he was existing in the form of God, he condescended to take on a human nature as well. And, you know, that God could really do anything, even that, you know, that was the example of his humility. But, yeah, so that's, for some reason, Jehovah's Witnesses seem to think we're saying that Jesus is the Father.
Right, and where you're saying that...
Which is easy to prove that's not true, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know, just wanted to run that by you, see if you had any explanation on that.
Sure. You know, I mean, for me, it's kind of difficult to explain things in English where, you know, it's like my mother tongue.
Right,
but, I mean, those points
it.
that you were bringing up were, I mean, you know, they're interesting, and I had never heard of what you were talking about, your, what was the word that you used? Where he's fully man, fully God.
Right. It's called, in theology, it's called the hypostatic union.
Hypostatic. I'd never heard of that either.
Yeah, it's just the way they put together all the verses. Now, when you read the, you know, society literature, they kind of omit the verses about the deity of Christ. They emphasize the other ones a lot, like, see, Jesus prayed to the Father. He's not the Father. Well, yeah, nobody thinks that he's the Father. I mean, great scholars wouldn't have been, you know, debunked by that simple, you know, idea.
By that simple idea.
Yeah, it's not a lot. They were great. I mean, there was, you know, the ones that knew Hebrew and Greek really well. And also, if you look at the verses that talk about the deity of Christ that most Christians use, they're changed in the New World Translation. That's why it's considered very sectarian. John 1:1, putting the word other in Colossians. Philippians chapter 2 is changed. That God is a throne rather than, you know. No, wait, Philippians 2 is the one where he condescended, and it's, changed existing in the form of God. And then in Hebrews, they changed 1:2. So if you look at all the standard verses that are used, they change the words or add words.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you can even compare them in the Kingdom Interlinear.
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a great and interesting study. Hey, are you raised in the Witnesses?
Yes, I was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, a great website is called jwfacts.com. You know, it's not in a nasty tone or anything. It just has covers a lot of interesting things. You know, it's always good to broaden your info. At least that's how I look at it. I'm reading jw.org, right? So if people say,
definitely.
Yeah, if people say you shouldn't, that's kind of that's
your personal decision. You know, that's the kind of where the information that you want to get. You know, definitely.
Yeah, not really. Many people believe they practice a pretty severe information control. You know, but because they have to make you think it's your personal decision. You know, you all choose not to, of course. You know. So that's just
what I was saying is it's everyone's personal decision to get more info or not. You know,
yes, it should be. It should be.
No.
Right. And if someone seems like they're, you know, like if they say the words, well, like your governing body did on the video, stick with what we have authorized. Ooh, I don't know. That would really bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. It seems like it makes them nervous if you look at other things. But hey, thanks for being so nice to me. It was really
definitely
good conversation, and God bless you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.